Yo, 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 yo. It's like,
Beats Planet.
Yep. What's up, y'all? Let me take a sip of the happy juice before I get started. I should have done this already, but I'm not a professional. Hang tight. If anybody can guess what happy juice is, say so in the chat box right now. You might win something. Anyway, it's Voch Lombardi. What's happening, y'all? We had a round table the other night, and first of all, there's only one round table. There are plenty tables for other platforms to use. They can use square tables, triangle tables, octagon tables, but there's only one round table. Shouts out to the Brother Law Nation, Foot's King, and QnA Media. But there was a lot of things I wanted to say, and sometimes I gotta fall back and let somebody else talk, right? Or else this shouldn't be a round table, right? There's a difference between a conversation and a monologue. You know what I mean? Like, you need multiple people to talk for a conversation. I had a couple things I wanted to hit on, but I didn't necessarily get to it because of the interest of time. I know that if these shows last too long, Foots might fall asleep because he works so hard. And it's like 4 people that you got to bounce conversation off of. Andrew said water first. You have won a shout out. Andrew Dominguez, salute to you, sir. So it was a couple points I wanted to get to that I didn't necessarily get a chance to. So just me setting the plate for the show today, that's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to get those last few thoughts out of the way. I wanted to touch on how I felt about Sean Lee playing Sam linebacker. We've been getting those words from the beat writers or the people that's in the know. And that's strange, man. A lot of people ask me, yo, Voch, what do you think is going on with OTAs? I'm like, I don't know. I ain't there. But based on the people that are there that are close to the organization, they say Sean Lee's playing Sam linebacker. So I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on that. And maybe one day when I pull out the white marker board, I could draw up like how it makes sense or how it'll fit or different looks we can run with Sean Lee playing as Sam. Also, we're talking about wide receivers, right? And 3 of them are going to be safe. And we may carry a total of 5, maybe 6 if you feel good about it, right? And there was a little discrepancy about who the 5th and 6th guy was going to be. Law was kind of feeling like Tavon and who he said Hearns or something, and Foot thought Tavon could get cut, and Okoye was like Tavon and Noah Brown. I'm like, Noah Brown about to get pushed off a bridge, so I want to give my thoughts on the wide receiver battle, I guess, and who would be the 4th and 5th guy in that situation. So we're gonna touch on that. Plus, I was talking about offensive line too, and I was making my case about people that could get cut from the offensive line. So we may cross that road in a little bit, and we could talk D-line if we want to, but. Something else too, when I'm doing these other shows and I'll be like, I'm not going to have the phones lit tonight. I just don't feel like doing the phones. I'm just going to talk because if I do the phone, it'll be a 2-hour show. It seems like when I set the damn phones up, don't nobody want to talk on the phone. Nobody. But when I don't set the phone up, everybody want to call in and talk on the phone. Voch is... How you do that, Steph? How you right upside down? Everybody want to talk on the phone when I ain't got the phone set up. So I have the phone set up today. If anybody wants to call into the show, is it on the screen? Yes. The number is 515-606-5187, access code 309104. If anybody wants to tune in via phone and get some opinions off and say what they got to say, communicate with Voch, fuss, argue a point, whatever you want to do. It's there. So it's on the screen. You heard me say it in my voice. The phone number's in the description. I'm sure somebody in the chat box will hold me down. And we're gonna do the general Q&A on the end of this thing. Plus, I got some film that I'm gonna drop afterwards. I'm gonna drop film on our free agent wide receiver, John V. Johnson, undrafted free agent rookie wide receiver John V. Johnson. So y'all hang tight when we're done here. So with that being said, Sean Lee is playing Sam linebacker, and it kind of makes me sick a little bit. Let me get some more happy juice. I can't breathe. Anyway, so earlier in the offseason, like January, February or so, many people would ask me, yo, Voch, like, how can we get these three linebackers on the field at the same time? Can we play Sean Lee as Sam linebacker? And my response was always, well, Sean Lee can play Sam linebacker. Sean Lee can also play free safety. Sean Lee can also play outfielder. He can also play goalie. It just depends on what's best for Sean Lee. And if we're talking about maximizing potential, Sean Lee is a world linebacker. Leighton Vander Esch is a world linebacker. Jalen Smith is a Mike. You know what I mean? Now, can you play Sean Lee as Sam? Sure, you absolutely can. The problem is that with the responsibilities that come with Sam linebacker, don't necessarily fit the narrative of Sean Lee. How Sam linebackers work is they're Sam linebackers, so that makes them strong side linebackers. So they're on the strong side of the defense. We line the defense up according to the look that the offense gives us. So Sean Lee is going to be on the tight end side or the fullback side, or somebody's going to be pulling that way. And in a perfect world, the reason why you don't want Sean Lee playing Sam is because it seems like every year Sean Lee lays down and go, ouch. Every single year he lays down and just for whatever reason, whether it be a hamstring, whether it be a knee, his back, his pinky toe, he goes, ouch. Right? I'm seeing in the chat about Sean Lee got bigger, but Sean Lee ankle ain't got nothing to do with how big he is. Or his hamstring ain't got nothing to do with how big he is. Or his ankle ain't got nothing to do with how big he is. You know what I mean? So that's my whole thing. Now, Sean Lee, can he play the position? Sure. Sean Lee is IQ guy. Sean Lee has the football intelligence to play any of those linebacker spots. The problem is that he's got to line up against tight ends. He's got to get thumped by fullbacks. Offensive linemen got to pull, and they got to hit him in the side of the face. Call up Voch, but don't be stupid. Facts. So when you look at a Sam linebacker, think about Damian Wilson and what he did, right? Damian Wilson's job wasn't to run sideline to sideline. The ball came to Damian Wilson. Damian just got hit with shit. He got hit with the tight end, the fullback, with pulling guards. I don't want Sean Lee being able to deal with that. So, you can run up on Voch and be like, ha, Sean Lee's playing Sam. I mean, that's cool. But I just want Sean Lee to be healthy. I would feel a lot better if Sean Lee was like a backup will linebacker or something, or like a rotational will linebacker or something. I don't think it harms Vander Esch having Sean Lee playing will and Vander Esch sitting his ass down sometimes. I don't think that harms him. You know what I mean? I just don't want Sean Lee out of position just for the sake of putting all three of those linebackers on the field. Sam linebackers probably on the field like an average 13 to 15 players for us anyway. So I don't want to force the issue. I don't want to push the issue. I would rather Sean Lee be healthy, to where just in case something happened with Leighton Vander Esch again, he having a long night with one of them whoop-de-woos, and he get another pelvic injury. Then we got a Pro Bowler coming off the bench to come play will linebacker for him. You see what I'm saying? So that's my thing. And like I said, he's gonna be on the sideline anyway. Now, what I'll probably do is I'll probably make like a complimentary video, drawing up some different plays on the whiteboard about how Sean Lee fits in as Sam, different looks. We can run with Sean Lee being the Sam linebacker. We can still run three cornerbacks and keep Sean Lee as Sam linebacker. So you ain't got to take off one of those guys. You'll probably take off a safety to make that happen. And Sean Lee, in theory, would be like a walk down safety. In theory, But you'll never put Sean Lee in a situation where he's got a man cover somebody, like a wide receiver or something. You don't want Sean Lee covering receivers, and you don't want Sean Lee playing like deep halves or deep thirds or something like that. So I may make a white marker boy video doing that, but I just want Sean Lee playing will linebacker, and I want him, just in case he's ready to go. You know what I mean? But that's my thoughts on that, though. I didn't want to touch on that too long. So I was taking a walk the other day, right? I just got a buzz on my situation. What is this buzzing me? Hey, Brian Brown dropped 30 in the PayPal. Salute to you. Brian Brown, he's holding it down for the Doski Woski. He appreciates what we do here. He appreciates the football knowledge and the facts that we put down here, that I bring to the table. Salute to you, Brian Brown. Call in, Brian Brown. 515-606-5187. You got something to say, Brian Brown? You can say what you want to say, Brian Brown. Call up in this thing, and I'll bring you right in. Anyway, I wanted to talk about tough cuts right now, right? Because this current Dallas Cowboys team is kind of going through something that has never had to go through before. If you think about where the fan base has kind of been the past 5 or 6 years, we kind of covet mediocre players. Like, we just hold them near and dear. We hold them tight. If you play 16 games for us and didn't get us killed, or you was somewhat productive, then we just want to hold you tighter. And that's interesting because I see people cuss Jerry Jones out for that when he hasn't done anything close to that. We see Jerry do, or we see people say that Jerry does things like, oh, he holds on to players for too long, he's too much favoritism with these guys. Well, I just had somebody on my last live stream. I was in the chat box. I just had somebody debate with me or passionately scream on me about why we should be keeping Joe Looney. And I ain't got nothing against Joe Looney. Joe's a cool dude. I shook his hand. A great person. Took a picture with him. You know what I'm saying? Very approachable. Did an interview and all that. Joe's a fantastic guy. But when we're looking at building rosters, we can't be emotional about it. Joe Looney played 18 games for us last year. He played 18 full games for us last year. That don't mean he was fantastic, though. That don't mean he was great, because there was a lot of games where just me watching film, and y'all can go back and find those videos, it'll be plenty games where I look at Joe and be like, boy, Travis missing. Like, boy, Travis ain't there no more. You know what I mean? And one thing that you do when you build 53-man rosters, the best way to do it is that you cut down on redundancies. Okay? What you mean by that, Voch? If we're building a roster and we looking at the running back spot and we got 5 running backs, if we got 2 power running backs, the smart thing to do is to cut one of those guys. You know? Or if we're talking about what's another example? Like if we're looking at wide receiver, right? Then the first 3 guys are concrete. We got Cooper, we got Gallup, we got Cobb. Then everybody else kind of fighting for that 4th and that 5th spot, right? If we got 2 big target goal line type of guys, one of those guys got to go, regardless of if we like them a lot. Cutting down redundancies just makes sense in terms of building the roster. So when I look at offensive line, let me pull out my notepad here. When I look at offensive line, Tyron, Connor Will, Travis, Lael, Zach Martin are absolutely safe. They're 10,000% safe. Okay? We're probably going to carry 8 offensive linemen on this thing. Somebody said, well, we carried 9 last year. Well, it was kind of ambiguous with the whole Travis Frederick thing. Because if Travis could come back, then we'll keep Travis. But as soon as we put Travis on IR, we didn't add another offensive lineman. We kept the guys that we had, and we ended up with 8 offensive linemen. So when we're building this roster, those first 5 guys are safe. Now you're looking at the next 3 that we could possibly bring up. The first guy is who's going to be your swing tackle. That's Cam Fleming. Then you look where the money is. We just spent a 3rd round pick on Connor McGovern. He's your guard center swing guy. Joe Looney is basically your guard center swing guy. There's no reason to have 2 guard center swing guys. It's a redundancy on this team. Connor McGovern is younger, cheaper. Joe's contract's going to be up next year. We spent a 3rd round pick on him. It just makes sense that if Joe doesn't make the team, you can't be surprised about it. I'm not saying I'm pushing Joe Looney off a bridge because I like Joe Looney. But you've got to be real with the possibilities in terms of there's a redundancy here. And I know we got love for Joe. He's a great teammate. He's funny. He walked around with the small-ass Zeke jersey with his stomach out. That's dope. But there's a redundancy here. When we brought in Cam Fleming, Chaz Green doesn't have a job no more because there's a redundancy there. I see people saying Su'a-Filo. It depends. Su'a-Filo's going to have to battle with Joe Looney for the guard spot. He's going to have to battle with Joe Looney. I think Su'a-Filo wins that match. That's just my thoughts. Hey, but we'll see. Chaz Green was bad. No, Chaz Green was terrible. But Joe Looney ain't great neither. And that's another point to what I'm saying. Like, we're at a different point now to where Chaz was on our team. We're so good of a team, we ain't really got terrible people on our team no more. We're going to have to cut good people because that's how good we are as a roster now. Be prepared. I ain't saying it's going to happen, but somebody you like on this offensive line going to get cut. I got to call it before I keep going. Let me see. Let me just see what's going on. 404, what's happening? Who this?
Oh, this is Brian Brown.
Brian, look, wait a minute, Brian. What's going on, Brian? You know, Brian, goats are cut from different cloth than regular humans. You know what I mean? Brian, have you ever cut a goat open? Goat's blood is gold. You know what I'm saying? I bet if I cut you, you will bleed gold, Brian, because you wanted to go. Salute to you, sir. You can come on this show and say whatever the hell you want to say. What are your thoughts, Brian? Talk to us.
My thoughts are I'm with you with the offensive line.
Sure.
Joe Looney, he's just not even close to as good as the 7 that we have.
True.
And if we have too many injuries, he could pick up somebody of his caliber off the waiver wire somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'd rather go 7 on the offensive line and go longer somewhere else.
Totally agree. We draft offensive linemen with the intentions of moving them all over the place. And like if it was another way we can pull this off, then it'll make sense. But like Joe was a nice little Band-Aid. Like we couldn't have Travis and we didn't really have a center backup plan. But if you watch film, Joe wasn't really getting to the next level greatly. Joe wasn't really getting movement greatly, not like Travis would, not even like another level center. But we gave Joe Looney a pass because we survived 18 games with him, and there's a love for Joe Looney there, and I like him too. He's a cool dude, but we got to be prepared to cut good players. You know what I mean? Like Doris Armstrong, Like he's doing so well. Taco might get cut, and people say Taco trash. Taco's not trash. He's just not first round pick caliber right now. But like Randy Gregory could make this weird for one of these backup defensive ends. You know what I mean? And we just got to be prepared for that. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, and that's what you got to think about here. Would you rather keep? I mean, if it comes down to it, would you rather keep Joe Looney or would you rather keep Taco Charlton?
Sure. Sure. That's absolutely a conversation.
To me, I'd rather keep Taco Charlton over Joe Looney if it comes to that.
I agree. Keep going.
Yeah, on the other side too, on the offensive line, you've got a tackle that can move over to guard and lay out Collins. You got a guard that can move over to tackle.
Sure. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, if something happens to any one of these guys on the offensive line, we got 3 guys that can move into any spot and, fill that void in. So it's just a part of the business. It's a part of the business. And you can't carry 9 offensive linemen, because if you do, you're gonna have to fall short somewhere that matters, like D-line or DB or wide receiver. So I just want people to, just to brace that hit that we may cut somebody we like this year.
Yeah, and people just they fall in love with players, but I mean, any guy that's on the bubble that might get cut, it's not going to be a big part of this team anyways.
That's fair.
They're going to play just some spot duty, and they may be up there if somebody gets injured. But, I mean, it's not going to make or break the season for that last player that you like making the team or not.
True. That's all you got, Brian?
That's what I got.
I appreciate it, bro. You don't forget you one of the GOATs, man. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise, man. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Tell you what, man. Y'all just go out, just find you a farm or something. And the next Billy Goat you see, just cut it a little bit. Not enough to hurt it, but just cut it enough to watch it bleed, and just gold gonna ooze out of it. I promise you. I see people in the chat box saying, can we trade Joe? Nah, you can't trade everybody and just assume you're gonna get something back, because teams ain't gonna send you something for Joe Looney. They're just gonna wait till you get rid of Joe and just pick him up. And that's not even to say that Joe gonna get cut. I don't know what the hell gonna happen. I'm just saying, logically, redundancies. That's like keeping 2 kickers. You know what I'm saying? So, just be prepared in that way. I was talking about D linemen, right? And like I said, you want to carry 8 D linemen? Let's talk about it. Let's say this is about week 5, right? Because, D-Law got surgery or whatever, and, boom, boom, boom. Let's say it's like week 5 or so. D-Law is 1. Malik Collins is 2. Let's just say everybody's healthy. Dark chocolate. Steph playing around with the fonts, man. D-Law. Malik Collins is 2. Robert Quinn is 3. Tyrone Crawford is 4. Tristan Hill is damn show number 5. Antoine Woods is 6. You only got 2 spots left. And I haven't even named Randy Gregory, Taco Charlton, Kerry Hyder, Dorrance Armstrong, Daniel Ross, Joe Jackson, Christian Covington. And we only got 2 more spots left. Bruh. Let me go ahead and write in Christian Covington, because we only got one nose tackle, and that's Antoine Woods. So we got 1 spot left for Dorrance Armstrong, Kerry Hyder, Randy Gregory, Joe Jackson, Daniel Ross. This shit could get really, really weird for us, man. Really weird. And it's kind of like I was saying earlier, it's kind of low-hanging fruit to say, let's get rid of Taco, let's cut Taco. Okay, let's just clear this whole Taco thing up, right? Taco may be letting you down as a first-round pick, but don't be silly enough to not think that Taco won't be a solid rotational left defensive end for you. Don't be silly. You know what I'm saying? Don't be silly because everybody else is doing it. Because it's cute to do it. Don't let expectations guide you the wrong way. Because to be fair, Tavon Austin ain't a first round pick to us. Tavon Austin is a guy that can get in where he fit in with us. We got to do the same thing for Taco Charlton. I know you want Taco to be Randy Gregory day one. You want D-Law to be Taco to be D-Law day one. But that's not the case. Don't let your emotions get the best of you right now. We got to keep Taco Charlton because we need him. We need him. And if he develop into a starter, then you're gonna look even more silly. Not to mention, there's a dude named Randy Gregory just sitting on the side with a big ass question mark on the side. Just he can make this thing totally weird. And that leaves out Dorrance Armstrong, Joe Jackson, and Daniel Ross. We've got to be comfortable with somebody getting cut here. I'm going to drop a Dorrance Armstrong film session, too, because I liked him last year. But we got to be... I don't think Kerry Hyder going to make it. Kerry Hyder, I don't think he going to make it. Honestly. Daniel Ross, I don't think he going to make it. Let me cross his name. I don't think he going to make it. People saying, Rodney saying, get rid of Tyrone Crawford. He a starter for you. Tyrone Crawford can start 19, 20 games for you. Why would you kick him off the bridge? Huh? Why would you cut him? At this point of the season, it's not like you're doing it for salary cap reasons. We under the cap. We got $60 million. Why would you cut a starter? Why would you cut somebody that could play? That don't make no sense. Eric Barnes, what's happening? He says, Wise, Jokes, Jackson, Covington, Hyder, Charlton, and Armstrong will have to. You goddamn right, Eric Barnes. Fantastic comment. Appreciate you for dropping a dime in the super chat. But you're absolutely right. Jokes might get like a training camp deal. And training camp is weird because you only put people in training camp if you want to keep them, but they're not too good to where another team could pick them up. We talking about offensive lineman Mitch Hyatt. You got to make a decision about Mitch Hyatt. A lot of teams would love to have him. We may not have the space for him. Dorrance Armstrong, Joe Jackson, you would love to have him, but we might not have the space for him. I think it's an interesting topic. Y'all call in, let me know. 515-606-5187. See what old Mooseville talking about. What up, Brandon?
What's happening, man?
Coolin', bro. What you got for the show?
And I got a whole 53 roster, and I think it's a lot less open spots than what people give credit for.
You ain't even got to tell me the whole roster. Just run down who you got at wide receiver, D-line, and O-line, because that's really where you got to take the most time to like really think it out at. You know what I mean? So go ahead and let me know who you got at wide receiver.
All right, receiver, Cooper, Gallup, Cobb, Hearns, Austin, and to be determined.
So you carrying 6?
Oh yeah, easy.
Okay, you carrying 6. So let me write down 6 wide receivers. What about D-line? How many you got first? How many you got? D-line you got?
Total D-line, I'm taking 9.
That is a lot of D-line. Okay, cool. Go ahead. Count them out.
Lawrence, Quinn, Charlton, Armstrong, Jackson, Crawford, Hill, Collins, Woods.
So Hyder can go. Did you say Covington?
Nope.
So Covington gets cut, and did you say Daniel Ross?
Mm-hmm. Nope.
So your only one tech is Antoine Woods right now?
Yep.
Damn, dog.
We don't value the position. Why are we gonna take it if we don't use it?
But who the hell gonna play when he get tired? Like what we gonna do?
We don't use the one tech. We use the interior guys. We just use 3. We're gonna use Crawford, Hill, and Collins and Woods.
Antoine
but
Woods.
We don't use the one.
Antoine Woods, Christian Covington, and Daniel Ross are all one techs though.
They just gonna play the interior. Marinelli's gonna use them in the inside.
I guess if you wanna
use them at the D tackle.
I guess if you wanna, I guess finesse your way into putting Malik there. I guess. Did you say Tyrone Crawford?
Yeah. Oh, come on now.
You said so. Okay, cool. So if Randy Gregory comes back, then what?
That's the hard one.
Randy make this shit weird. I know.
No.
He makes this.
Man. Like he is guaranteed the roster spot, but
Joe Jackson got to go, right?
Has that
Joe Jackson?
Man,
Yeah.
I like Joe, man. I like Papa Joe, man.
I love Randy. Shit.
Yeah, you right.
Shit.
It might have to be Joe. It'll be Joe or
Dorrance.
I get rid of Olawale on offense before I think about getting rid of
They're not gonna do that.
one of my
They're not gonna
defensive linemen.
They're not gonna do that. They
That's just me.
That's
just me.
They done paid Olawale, and that makes me sick. But
yeah.
But that's some of the weird conversation that I want people to get used to. You know, the conversation that we got to get used to having. Mike Mike from Virginia Beach say cut Randy Gregory. Bullshit.
No.
Bullshit.
Wait, man, I'm in Virginia. I'll go find him.
Oh no! Oh god! Andrew say bye Randy. Y'all are insane. Y'all are insane. Oh my god. And what about your offensive line? How many you got?
9.
Well, fuck, bro. 9 offensive line. Okay, cool. So if you got 9 offensive line, so you couldn't. So what you cutting short? Like safeties?
I got 4 I got 10 total DBs, 4 safeties, 6 corners.
How the fuck you pulling this off? I
You
would
want
have
to
to
go down
look
my
at
total positions?
I would have to look at it, man. Tweet me or
numbers.
something. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me. Okay, cool. Tell me your DBs then. Tell me your DBs.
All right. Jones, Awuzie, Lewis, Jackson, Alumba, to be determined. Heath, Woods, Aloka, Frazier.
Michael Jackson ain't making the team?
Yeah. I said Jackson.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you keeping Jackson and Lumber. God damn, bro. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. So you must only got one quarterback then. You got Dak and
No.
you got Dak and Mike White then, huh?
Yep.
Dak and Mike White. Damn. Running back, you got 4 running backs.
3.
You gotta have Olawale because they paid him. You gotta have Olawale. You gotta have Olawale because they paid him.
You know it.
So wide receiver, tight ends. Which tight end you couldn't? You couldn't Dalton Schultz?
No, I'm getting rid of Rico.
I mean, yeah. So you got Jarwin, Schultz, and Jason.
Yep. Man, and it hurt me to get rid of Rico, man.
I've been trying to now look, honestly, I've been
get rid of Rico, man.
I've been trying to cut Rico Gaddis for a smooth 3 years now. It just,
Don't do this to me, man. Don't help me keep Rico. Help me.
So just me processing of elimination here. We got to have a linebacker conversation.
Mm-hmm.
How many you got? Like 5?
I'm keeping, and this is for special teams. I'm keeping 6 linebackers.
How the fuck you got all these people, man? I'm gonna have to look at it in a second. I'm gonna look back at it, but 3.
I mean, because you need special teamers too. I'm taking kicker, punter, and long snapper into account.
God damn, boy, it's gonna have to be a bunch of people getting cut, man. I think personally, it gets weird at wide receiver and D line, specifically defensive end. But okay, so how about this? This is perfect, actually. We just talked about cutting Joe Jackson for Randy Gregory. Would you rather have Joe Jackson or Joe Looney?
Jackson.
Can I take one of your offensive linemen to keep Joe Jackson?
I didn't even keep Joe Looney, to be honest.
What?
I took Brandon Knight.
You kept Brandon Knight. You kept Brandon Knight.
Yeah, because exactly like you said.
Practice squad stuff.
Connor McGovern fills the need that Joe Looney fills.
Sure.
You can't have both of them fill the need. It is a redundancy.
So would you say that that Cameron Fleming would be what Brandon Knight is?
Yes.
So,
you are absolutely right. But I like Brandon Knight.
Okay, that was that. Okay, you just like
that's
Brandon
just preference.
Okay, you just like Brandon. Okay, Mitch Hyatt can go. You just like Brandon Knight. I understand.
Yes.
I understand. This is a
But
go ahead.
if you want to talk me into keeping Joe Jackson and cutting Brandon Knight in order to keep Randy Gregory,
Sure.
that could be a conversation.
You got to keep Randy Gregory, man. Come on, son. Come on.
Yeah. But if this is about Joe Jackson at this point. If we're talking about
in my personal opinion, can we just cut Olawale and just like keep an extra pass rusher? You know what I mean? Just like, in my mind. And you know what?
Yeah.
And you know what?
We can do that right now. Like I got a red pen right here specifically for that.
The Cowboys signed him like he actually got money tied to his name. Personally, man, I think once they get towards the end of this thing, man, I think they just gonna have to eat that money and get rid of Jameis, dog. Because I don't really foresee us really using the fullback like that, you know. We damn sure. And when we threw it to him the one time, he dropped it.
Exactly, and it would have been a touchdown. He left points on the field.
Yeah. Whether say that Mike Weber might get cut. Weber's not gonna get cut because we already short. We already short at running backs. We ain't got but three.
Exactly.
We ain't got but three. Chun and Jackson ain't gonna be there. Chun and Jackson ain't gonna be there. They're not gonna be there. So it's gonna be Zeke, Tony, and Mike Weber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's them or bust.
Sure. What else you got, bro?
That's really it, man. I think, like I said, that this camp is a lot more a lot more fine cut because this isn't really a year that we have the luxury to play around. Because this year is Super Bowl or bust for the coaching staff, there isn't really room to play around.
Understood. Go back over your wide receivers one more time before I let you go, before I hang up on you.
Cooper, Gallup, Cobb, Hearns, Austin, and to be determined. Personally, I think it's going to be Cedric Wilson, but somebody could always show out.
Give me John V. Johnson, man. That's my guy.
I'd be willing to go with that too.
That's my guy, man. Give me John V. Johnson and ship what's his face out of here. Ship Noah Brown up out of here. And the only reason I want
end that experiment. End it.
Yeah. The only reason I want John Vay and Tavon Austin is because they can give you top speed, they give you jet sweep guy, and they give you kicking game stuff. So kick return, punt return, all that stuff, and just I'm not opposed to the team being faster as a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So right. Can't be speed. So give me the young guy. Hey, plug your podcast and all that, and get off my phone.
Frankly Football Podcast. We right now, it's the weird off season stuff, but as we get closer, we drop every other week. When the season drops, we drop every week. Give us a listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Appreciate it, man. I'll let
you. Peace.
Yeah. We got another PayPal from Gerald Davis. He dropped 5 in the thing, man. What's happening? Look, Gerald. Look, listen, man. Listen, y'all, you can call in if you want, my guy, Gerald Davis. Just call in and say what's up so I can tell you thank you personally, man. Appreciate you, man. Salute to you, dog. Salute to the PayPals coming through tonight, man. I can damn sure use that because we gonna get this second channel popping. We're gonna get this thing going. Voch Lombardi 2.0. Podcast is on the way. Shit, the podcast is already out. That's Voch's voice. That's on all your podcast streaming platforms, but we're gonna upgrade everything. And it's been a minute. Cardinal fan, what's up, man?
Hey, Voch, this ain't Cardinal fan.
Who is this?
No, man.
Who is it?
This is the real Law Nation. Nothing but the best.
Listen, man, don't be calling my show winging it. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna come in with a different character, have that character in mind, bro. Don't just come through winging it on my show, man. What's wrong with you, dog?
I miss you, Voch. Man, you're strong as ever, man. I've been out of the loop for a while. You're killing it right now. Good for you.
Hey, man, ain't no need to stop the train.
You, man.
Ain't no need to stop the train, man. You already know. What's good, brother?
Voch, I've been thinking a lot about your Cowboys, and something you have not mentioned on your show, but I think is relevant. How come no one's addressing the white elephant in the room, that Dak Prescott really isn't that good and Zeke's been carrying him this whole time?
I don't
How
think
can
that's
you never bring that up?
I don't think it's true. And I and,
Oh, come
and look, you ain't been listening.
Oh.
You ain't been listening. You ain't been listening. I mean, we always talk about this. You ain't been paying attention, but you know, I'm just.
I pay attention.
I think I could be wrong. Somebody fact check me on this, but I think Dak is like 10-2 without Zeke or some crazy number like that. Somebody fact check me on that. Dak still wins. Dak has won ball games with Rod Smith. Don't get it twisted. You watch First Take. You watch First Take.
No, I don't. I don't watch all those letter
Don't bring that
that's
around.
old school.
Listen, Carter, let me say something, man. Let me say something. I'm not one of these other YouTubers you can just come in and just talk crazy to. Nah, like we got.
Fuck, how many years now, bro? Oh, how many years we got under our belt? You know I'm not talking crazy. That's a real question for you.
Well, I don't think that gets worse without Zeke. I think what happens football wise is teams play our offense differently when Zeke isn't there, and Dak just kind of adapts to that better. Now, is the offense better? No, but that makes sense. When you take away a horse, the offense kind of gets worse. But Dak as a passer is technically, statistically, a better passer, more efficient passer when Zeke's not in the game. But when Zeke's in the game, the offense as a whole is better, if that makes sense to you.
It makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate you backing up your statements with facts. You know, a lot of people don't do that.
I try. Bro.
Anyways, Voch, what's up with this? What's up with this fantasy football? Let's get down on that league together this year.
So what I'm doing for my Patreon people is I'm doing 2 fantasy football leagues. They're both going to be 12-team leagues. The first team is going to be like the super elite team. I'm going to handpick those people or whatnot. And the second team.
All right, I'm in. Good job. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Boy, you funny. And the second
all right,
team.
11 more. Go ahead.
The second team is going to be more of a first come first serve within the Patreon deal. Like once I set it up, then I'll let people, run and go do that. So like it may be like at 3 a.m. when I throw it up there on the actual Patreon site on the app or whatever. But once it's up, I'll let people, go in and do that, and that's going to be for the second league. And I'm going to personally handpick the first 12 people. So you might be in there. You may or may not. I'm in
there, dog. What you be, boy? Come on.
I can't.
Jeez, this must be tripping. The only reason you're not putting me in there is if you're scared. Game recognized game.
I'm a champion. Get out of here.
But
what's up?
But you don't think Jalen Ramsey should have been picked instead of Zeke anyways?
I think you can't miss with either one of those players, but how the Cowboys were set up, they needed a running back more than they needed a cornerback at the time. If you draft Jalen Ramsey and put him on that defense, you don't win any more games than what you normally would. Zeke single-handedly changed the whole offense. You know what I'm saying? Right. We drafted Zeke for Tony. Tony was hurt. We needed somebody to take the load off of him. Zeke was going to be that guy, whether it be his running or his blocking or just him, just being a bell cow guy. So what the Cowboys needed at the time was another horse on offense. So that's my answer there. Jalen Ramsey is a fantastic puzzle piece for the overall situation or whatnot. But Zeke came in and immediately gave you like 10 more wins by himself. Jalen Ramsey wouldn't be able to do that.
All right, man. Last question. Mm-hmm. Last question, 2 parts. To elaborate on your last caller, he kind of mentioned in passing that this is like if the coaching staff doesn't get it done, they're going to be fired. Do you agree or disagree with that? Or like, what's your insight into that? Me personally, I think it's good for a change. Something's up with that culture over there. I mean, even Randy Gregory, right? That dude's got a past. I mean, everybody has a past, but Zeke. I mean, in that first 3 months, I mean, he was in there. He's been in and out of trouble. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. I'm not saying that, but is it a cultural issue if they do let Garrett go or whatever? Or I mean, do you think this is last year if they don't make it kind of thing? Like, what's your vibe on the coaching staff and the culture?
As far as
the culture is dictated by the coaching staff. Go ahead.
As far as the culture goes, I don't think it's a culture problem because besides those two guys you just named, like that's kind of it. Like we ain't really got problems besides that. There are some other teams.
Pieces, though.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, if you want to say that, sure. But I think you can look at every team and point out two guys that that are problem guys.
Patrick Peterson, Pat P, boy.
Sure.
Man, anyways, go ahead.
Sure. But as far as culture in terms of coaching staff, no, I think the culture is fantastic, and what I mean by that, and I think I'm oddly qualified to kind of talk about this because I'm a 27-year-old Cowboy fan. So the first Cowboy era I really saw, like as an educated Cowboy fan, was like the Wade Phillips era, and I actually saw a team quit on Wade Phillips. Like I saw a team go out and say, man, look, I got my roster bonus, I got my, you know what I'm saying, I'm not playing for Wade Phillips anymore. In the Jason era, in the Jason Garrett era, in 2015, when Tony got hurt, the team went to shit, and Dez got hurt, Sean Lee went hurt, DeMarco Murray was an Eagle, and we were like 3 and something. That team played hard for him every single week. It's just that we weren't good enough to win games. And when you see teams in if you see a team losing like that, you know what I mean? Like they play lackadaisical. They fake injuries. They don't respond to their coach. And I've never seen Jason Garrett in no situation where his players don't respond to him. So in terms of culture via coaching staff, I don't think that's a problem at all. In terms of winning, I don't think the Cowboys have a winning problem. If you look at take that one season, Tony Romo's collarbone and his back broke and his ankle broke and his hip broke all in one season, and we did go 3-13 or whatever. If you look at that season,
that's called the last 5 years of his career, bro.
Like if you look at that season and say, you know what, if Tony plays this season, that's a playoff team. Then you're looking at a Dallas Cowboy team that went to the playoffs 4 out of 5 times. You know what I mean? And shit, it's hard to make the playoffs. it's hard to get there. You know what I mean? And I think the Cowboys are a playoff team this year. Now, if they don't go to the playoffs, some catastrophic shit got to happen. But if they don't go to the playoffs, then it might be some changes at coaching. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think so because I think this team is qualified enough. I think they're talented enough, and I think the coaching is good. Jason Garrett's only job is to run the machine and motivate. You want to talk about play calling? Well, that's Kellen Moore's job. You want to talk about defensive stuff? That's Chris Richard and Rod Marinelli. So I think Jason's doing his job in terms of motivating and running the machine.
My mind drifts to where coaches make their money. And this is the problem I have with it.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches make their money in the playoffs, and people in the playoffs win by making adjustments. Belichick is the king of fluidity. And if you're telling me whether that's expressed through play calling or whatever, or culture, I would prefer someone with a little more experience. And this is coming from a Cardinals fan who hired probably the most insane, whatever. That's another topic.
Sure.
But you're talking about Kellen Moore's mind against Belichick's mind.
Sure.
And that's the problem. That's the problem I have. It's the culmination of the injuries, yes, but where's the starting point, right? How many years do you get to have such a talented team? Because every team deals with injuries, period.
Not every
that's
team.
My issue that I have with them. I just don't know that. I mean, every team deals with injuries. I mean, that's just how it is. You know, it sucks. But I just don't feel comfortable with the ability to adapt. Like you said, the play calling's not on Garrett, but he's the final word, I guess, so to speak. I'm assuming he has overriding power.
I feel you, but when Deshaun Watson was healthy.
Hey, brother, real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion.
I feel you.
So
I feel you.
I'm just chatting it out with you. So
I feel you.
Go ahead.
But when you look at the Houston Texans, when Watson was healthy, they're a playoff hopeful. You know, he gets hurt, then they look trash. If you look at the New York Giants, Odell Beckham plays.
Play calling is dictated by availability. Right, that makes sense.
It changes. So if you lose Beckham, the Giants look different. Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and the backup, the old boy Brett Hundley played. The Packers look terrible. You know, it's just that we make excuses when it comes to the Cowboys. You win games with players. You know what I mean? Like coaching sure takes a, you know, and look, Belichick's the GOAT.
In the right position.
Sure.
Players put in the right position.
Belichick's the GOAT. Belichick's the GOAT, but that means nothing.
Dad invented talent, sir.
But that means nothing without execution. And you talking to somebody that when something bad happens on Sunday, I go straight to the film and I find out what the hell going on. And I see a lot of penalties. I'll see like a da-da-da or like a whatever. You know what I'm saying? Execution matters. Like you can't coach your way out of your guys not executing. Like Nick Foles would be in another Super Bowl if Alshon Jeffrey catches the ball. You know what I'm saying? But Alshon drops it. We can't say Doug Peterson can't coach. You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of go hand in hand with that, man. But it comes down to the players, man. That's my ultimate philosophy or whatever. Sure, coaching matters, but it only matters in a sense of if your coach is terrible or if your coach is like, you know what I'm saying? Like people saying, oh, Jason Garrett, you lost in the first half of the season, you lost 6 or so games or 5 games or whatever. Well, our wide receiver core was trash. We add a wide receiver that can run routes and catch. We only lose 2 games till we get to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want people to just not watch First Take so much. Not saying you, but people hear this shit on First Take and it turns to a talking point, and I hate it.
What was heard on First Take?
Well, if you watch First Take, the first thing you hear is that oh, Jason Garrett doesn't deserve a job. Oh, this is the reason why. This is that accident waiting to happen. Oh, Dak Prescott can get his money, but he can't win big games. Dak Prescott wins big games all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's just narrative.
That's a double-edged sword because it's all about ratings and money and advertising. When you're talking about the Cowboys, you're talking about a beloved team, hated or loved, you know? That's what makes that money to bring that up. So that's a double-edged sword right there.
But stop lying on my team for money with your bitch ass. Not you. Not you. But them, you know what I'm saying? Stop lying on my team for your money. Like, there's this narrative that the Cowboys got all the damn trouble players in the league. We ain't got all... The Broncos historically are the most troubled franchise. That's somebody did an article on that shit. The Cowboys rank like 21st. Y'all Google that article. The most criminals on a.
That's subjective because it depends on the severity of the crime.
Please.
Please.
Please. Get out of here.
That's true, bro.
Hey man, what else you got, man? I got 5 more people on my line. What's up? Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say I appreciate the insight. You're right. You do got to kind of that's why I listen. Have a kind of coach's insider passion and a simplified way of explaining it to people like me at a deeper level of football. So if you're listening to this, hit that like button or hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If there's in the YouTube game, 80% of share every time someone shares, 80% of their friends will hit like or also subscribe. So I don't know how many people are listening right now, but if you got 1 second, it's free. Hit the like button, hit the little subscribe button, the ding, and then share it. And let's help Voch along on his dream. You have some money. I'm sure you got PayPal, stuff like that, Patreon. Hook it up if you got it like that. But other than that, it's free. And I just appreciate listening, Voch. I'll take it off the air, and I'll listen to let me know when that league starts, that fantasy league. I'll make some time in the schedule.
Sure thing. Keep your eyes on the Patreon email situation.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, Voch.
Yeah.
Bye.
That is a real article. Somebody wrote like what franchise got the most criminals, and Cowboys are like way at the bottom. That's real facts.
Fuck.
100 grand, what's good, man?
Fucker.
God damn,
God damn.
Did you just get robbed? Did you just get robbed, man? Hell going on?
Yeah.
Hell going on? Am I listening to a crime
bro.
right now? Do I gotta hang up on you?
Nah, bro. I'm mad at this Yankees game right now. I got the over, my nigga. I'm mad. You know I'm a better, my nigga. You already know.
I am not a witness, man. Who the hell are you robbing?
Nah, sports betting, my nigga. I got the over in this Yankees game. They bullshitting right now.
Jesus, what's up?
I live
good?
in New Jersey, man.
What's good?
Betting
100
is
grand?
legal in New Jersey, dog.
I reckon. Robbing a motherfucker ain't legal. Go ahead. Shit, go ahead, man.
Listen, man. You was talking about coaches earlier.
Sure.
And how the Jason Garrett era and teams not quitting. That's one thing you could say about the Jason Garrett era.
Sure.
They don't quit on him, man.
Sure.
They ball. And the problem is with Jason Garrett is when we don't have depth, we in trouble.
Sure.
That's the problem. You can't say Jason. Every time we have lost, it's been because we haven't had depth or some fluke shit happen.
I agree.
You know what I'm
agree.
saying?
And you know what? We finally have a roster where I can look at it and say, okay,
Right.
well, shit, we straight. We straight. The only thing, the only thing that can go wrong is that getting hurt. Like that's it. But everything else.
Whoa.
I'm
Why
listening.
you even got to put that in the atmosphere, my dog?
I knocked on the table before I said.
Come on, man. Don't even say that.
Listen, man, I knocked on the table before I said it.
Hurt left and right. Now,
I knocked on wood before I said it. I went.
Good.
I went like that.
Good, because if Thursday or Friday come across the screen, getting that at you.
I'm leaving the country. I ain't making no more videos, boy. I'm retiring. Y'all ain't gonna see me no more.
Because man, you can't say it can't happen. It's happening. People are getting hurt.
I agree, but looking at this
Right
roster
now.
though, looking at this roster, and we were saying it earlier, I don't know when you tuned in or whatnot, but this team is so good that we're gonna have to cut some people that we like. But that just shows how how good of a team we are. So go ahead.
I had that problem all day.
Yes, sir.
I had that problem all day, man. I would rather cut talent than us trying to find some talent. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
sir.
the only place that we don't have quality backup is the quarterback position, man. That's the only place that we don't have, okay, this guy come in, we good.
Yep.
That's it. Every other position, we are straight, man. We are golden. And I just can't wait to see Kevin Moore. I mean, the things that I'm hearing, you know what I'm saying, is just awesome. And from the videos that they be putting out and stuff like that, and the way that they using Randall Cobb.
Right.
Woo,
Right.
woo, I just can't wait for the season, man. I just can't wait for the season.
You know what's funny,
I can't
man?
wait for it, man.
You know what's funny, but I just hate to pat myself on the back, man. You know, if y'all keep up with the big homie Voch, man, everything that's happening with this fancy Kellen Moore offense, I've either talked about it or drawn it for you. You know what I'm saying? It is what I'm chilling.
They keep putting out, you know, he doing a lot of 11 personnel,
Yep.
you know, a lot of 10 personnel.
I've been saying 10 personnel for months. For months. Boy, we line up out that thing.
You have.
We line up out that thing without a tight end and like, ooh, like, fam. Come on.
And I just can't wait, man. I can't wait. Don't worry about that Zeke shit. If they was going to suspend him, they would have suspended him already. I think Jerry had a little talk, like, listen, leave him alone. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what,
I don't
man.
see nothing coming out of that.
Listen, I tell you what, if I ever hire security to secure me, I don't want him to be so frail that he could just get pushed over by gravity.
Yeah.
By gravity.
Yeah, you know, come on. And you know why? Another reason why I don't think nothing's going to happen to Zeke? Come on, man. If Zeke pushed me, I'm falling too, dog. I ain't going to lie.
That's fair.
If Zeke pushed me, I'm falling.
You know what? I'm not falling because I'm a man. I'm a man.
Yo, come on, man.
I ain't falling nowhere.
That Zeke Elliott? Oh, he put his hands on me?
We're going to have to wrestle.
Give me a check. I'm getting 20,000.
I don't want the easy way out. I don't want the easy way out. I'm a man.
Okay. Let's take it off the squad. If Tom Brady push you,
my leg. Ah.
If the billionaire Jay-Z push you,
I can't walk. Somebody got to compensate me for this year of work that I'm gonna miss.
Okay then, my G. Okay then.
Man, you bugging, man. Don't be putting me in bad spots like that, man.
That's what I do, man.
Come on,
That's what I do. I'm trying to make my point here, so I don't blame the young man. The thing that I blame him for, I just want him to give me an apology. What grown man want another grown man to give you an apology?
Talk to him.
Come on, man.
Talk to him.
Cut it out, man.
But hey,
cut it out.
It is what it is, fam. It is what it is.
Yeah, man.
What else you got for the show before I hang up on you?
Man. Oh, damn. I know it's the off season, but damn.
It's one of them. You called in late. You called late.
Nah, I don't got nothing else, my G. I ain't got nothing else, bro. Have a good show, my G.
I appreciate it, man.
Subscribe to my man, and donate to that Patreon or whatever it is, man. Donate to that man. That's a great man.
There you
go.
Man. There you go. Super Bowl $100,000, man.
Exactly. Come on, man. Speak on it. All right, bro.
Go ahead and finish robbing them people and take that man out of the trunk so he can breathe.
All right, bro.
Thought I forgot. Thought I ain't remember. We got a Mississippi number. Ronnie B, what's up? Who this? I mean, shit.
Yo,
Ronnie
B. What up,
I said Ronnie B, what's up? Who this? My bad, Ronnie B. What's good? What you got for the show, brother?
Bro, I'm excited about these Cowboys, bro.
You should.
Aren't you, man? Like our roster is loaded.
100%, man. You know,
it's stacked, baby.
we finally got a roster that I think top to bottom is built nicely. We got a little bit of diversity there. The offense looked nice, fast, and explosive. We're youthful. And you know, thinking about free agency last year, we didn't really lose anybody pivotal. We signed back the biggest free agent, which was D-Law. So all we've done there is retool and restock, and I think we upgraded on offense. I think we in for a good one.
Yeah, man, we got an elite running back. We got promising people behind him. We got an elite D-line. Mm-hmm. We got an elite linebacking core. Mm-hmm. I mean, things are shaping up for Cheeto to be even more elite. I believe he's going to make a couple more interceptions, a couple more, but sure. I think he's going to finally turn it up a notch at the cornerback position. Still got Jordan Lewis, our D-line is unbelievable. Got a proven quarterback that can win in close games.
100%.
But I think we're going to be blowing people out, homie. Like, with that wide receiving core we got, like, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if we just start whooping some ass up in this 2019 season. What you think?
I agree, long as we score it, because the defense is going to be elite regardless.
That's right.
Think about how good this defense actually was last year, to where we would be on offense and we would not score and we would just punt the football. The other team would get the ball back with favorable field position, and our defense was good enough to, whoop that ass with good field position. So just imagine if we're actually scoring the ball and we give them and we put the offense their offense, their offense, and we put them on their 20 every time because we're actually scoring the football. I think the defense gets better, and we should blow people out like that.
And we got all the tools to be doing that too. We got all the tools to be doing that. Mm-hmm. And a new look. Dak's gonna have his best season. Like, he's shaping up to be like the form into an elite quarterback within the next, either this year or next year, I believe so, man. I believe in him 100%. Mm-hmm. He's proven it time and time again. He can win. He's clutch.
Totally agree. That's my guy.
I know, right? It's my quarterback right there.
Yep. That's it. You good?
What up?
That's it. You good?
Yeah, bro, I'm good, man. I just wanted to come holler at you. I ain't talked to you in a minute, but I love your show, love what you do. All the videos, bro, all the insight. I'll be binge watching that shit sometimes.
Appreciate it, Ronnie B. Stay tuned, man. Stay tuned.
Oh, absolutely. All right, brother.
Yeah. Boy, Ronnie B sound cool to the motherfucker. Boy. Ronnie B sound like the drug dealer that 100 grand was just about to go rob. For those of you that tuned in late, I'm gonna be dropping film after this for our undrafted rookie, undrafted free agent rookie wide receiver, John V. Johnson. So check him out. I actually clicked on the PayPal that Gerald Davis sent in. Salute to you. Appreciate it. He says, Voch, keep up the good work. Great content and analysis on your channel. Question, how do you think we match up with the Eagles this year? We beat the Eagles twice last year, and we got better. we swept the Eagles last year, and we got better. Run it. Let's do it again. The Eagles, I don't think they addressed their cornerback position at all. And we've gotten better at receiver. Good luck to them. They still got to try and tackle Zeke. Good luck to them. You know, I've seen Dak ripping the shreds. I don't foresee it being a problem here. Thanks for the PayPal, Gerald. Let's get into the phones though. 972. Who this?
Hey, what's up, man? This is Terrell, man.
What's cracking, Terrell? What you got for the show?
Hey, I want to ask you about, the BU roundtable that you had like last week.
Okay.
You said that with the 7 linemen, with the offensive linemen, you said that you was going to cut Joe Looney.
Sure.
I want to know, okay, with the 5, we know the 5 starters from the offensive linemen, and we know that Fleming and McGovern is going to be the
6 and 7, right?
The backup lineman.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, Joe Looney, who's going to replace Joe Looney in the 8th spot?
Well, so when you building these rosters and this just, team trends or whatever. So Joe could be on the team. I'm just saying that based on trends of the team, how you build the roster is that you cut down on redundancies. So what Joe Looney is to us, he's our guard center guy. And if you look at Connor McGovern is our guard center guy. So I think Connor gets the nod over him because he's younger. He has more draft money put into him or whatever, and Joe's older, and Joe's contract is up after this year. So what I'm saying is if Joe fills up the guard center guy situation last year, then Connor McGovern does that this year. Last year, the only reason Redmond was on the team was because somebody had to back up Joe. You know what I mean? So if Travis comes back and he's the first center, Connor McGovern is the second center, we don't need nobody to back up the second center. You know what I mean? Because then we're going to go into too many linemen. So when it comes to trying to limit redundancies, what you might end up with is Cam Fleming, Suafilo maybe, and then Connor McGovern, maybe.
So do you think that Xavier or Redmond is going to replace Joe Looney?
Redmond can get pushed off a bridge today, but but my 6, 7, and 8 guys would be, it'll be Connor McGovern. And it'll be Cam Fleming. And with the 8th spot, I think Suafilo would have to battle with Joe Looney as the guard guy. And I think Suafilo would, he would win that battle over Joe. So Suafilo would be my 8th guy.
Okay. And I also want to give a shout out to Arizona Cardinal fan for telling everybody to share and like and subscribe to your video because you've been putting on a lot of content. You always hold it down like that. So I just wanted to give a shout out to him and you for everybody else to look out for your new content. But also I want to ask you about Noah Brown. He's got become a tight end?
Nah, no, because I wouldn't want him to be a full-time blocker. Like, he's a solid blocker for a tight end, but I don't think he's a solid blocker for a receiver. I don't think he's a good enough blocker to be a tight end. I wouldn't, like, if you want Noah Brown to come in motion and crack down on a D end, that's different. But if you want to line him up next to a tackle and make him base block a defensive end, I think Noah's going to have some problems. And the only reason you would keep him is that you hope he would give you something in the passing game, man. I don't think that's going to happen for Noah Brown. I think Noah gets cut this year. I don't know because I'm not there, but just me assuming, I think Noah gets cut.
Well, yeah, I think Noah and Hearns going to be on the bubble for sure. And also, just one more question, man, because I've been on your head about this, like, before the last year's draft about running backs. You told me that Bo Scarborough was not going to make the team.
Sure.
I was confident he was going to make the team.
Right.
You said he was going to make the team. He didn't make the team. I was like, damn. Voch right. But this year, you vouching for Mike Weber and you vouching for Pollard.
Sure.
So what's the difference between this year and that last year? I know the answer is probably going to be Ross Smith, but I just wanted to let you clear the noise for the fans.
Well, I don't think Bo was versatile enough, and you just can't be limited when you're trying to fight for a roster spot. And like I said, it comes down to redundancies. You know what I mean? Like, if we got 4 running backs and we know for sure we keeping 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 are fighting for the 3rd spot, but they're both power backs, we're not going to get rid of the pass catching back just to keep 2 power backs. You want to get rid of the redundancy. So the redundancy would be that Rod Smith is technically a power back that catches the football. And he's a little faster than, Bo's 40 probably better, but Rod was just a better back than Bo. And I think that's where it kind of happened there. Plus, Bo really wasn't going to play kicking game for you. He wasn't going to run down and tackle anybody or nothing like that. So I think that was a bit of a problem. Plus, Bo kind of had like a pass blocking issue. So he's on he's on his 5th team now. So it might just be a talent thing for Bo too. I don't know, but shouts out to Bo. He had a good college career, but it happens.
Right. Yeah. I want Himes. I want Naheem Himes. He went to Indianapolis, and he went crazy, man. He went crazy, but I wanted Himes in our first pick, but I think we got Schultz. But I'm gonna rock with him anyway.
I feel.
But thanks for taking my call, man.
No doubt, man. Thanks for coming through, man. Salute.
Well,
Dosky Woski. My fault, bro. I just added Terrell as a platinum call, so next time you call in, Terrell, you'll go to the front. Dominique, what's up?
What up, G? How you been?
Dosky Woski, my man. What you got for the show today?
All right, man. I got a couple questions. First, I kind of wanted to piggytail off of his last question with the 53-man roster.
Yeah.
I was really wondering, how are we going to construct it, primarily with, defensive line depth, offensive line depth, and wide receiver depth. I mean, we all know that Tavon, Hearns, and basically those guys are on the fringe, but I was really wondering, how would you formulate our wide receiver core, or, the 3 different cores that I spoke about, going into the season? That was going to be my first question. Well, I'll let you go ahead with that one.
It's really gonna suck, man, but
yeah, I know.
we just gonna have to deal with that though. And this kind of a weird time to be a Cowboys fan, because whether you feel like we had good teams or not, we've never had this much depth in a long time. It's been a while since we had this many guys.
It's a really, really weird situation,
right?
Because in some areas we could possibly be letting guys who were starters last year walk. So I understand.
And just depth wise, just looking at how talented this team is, it's inevitable. What my man Thanos say? It's inevitable. I'm inevitable. It's
Your defeat will brought you back to me.
Man, look, bro, we gonna be looking. Man, look, the phone gonna beep one day, the hotline gonna bling, and that thing gonna say that we cut somebody that we really like, and we gonna go, damn, how that happened? We only got 53 spots. We got to cut down on redundancies, and it's a lot of spots that can make things really weird here. So in terms of wide receiver, there's the top three guys, Cooper, Gallup, Cobb. They're not going nowhere.
Right.
But
untouchables. Right.
Sure. But 4 and 5 gets really strange. I think Allen Hurns got to be there because he gives you versatility, and we know that he's a proven starter. Like think about how much we've improved from last year or 2 years ago. Allen Hurns was the starter. Allen Hurns and Tavon Austin was our X and Z receivers versus the Carolina Panthers.
Hurns was the Z.
Right.
Hurns was definitely the Z, before Coop got here and Gallup got here.
Both those guys may not make the team this year. You know what I'm saying? So if it was up to me, I would say big three, Hurns at 4, and give me John V. Johnson at 5 because I really like John V. Johnson.
I'm leaning that way too, but part of me is like, I don't want to give up Tavon partly because of the trade capital that we gave up.
Sure.
And secondly, it's just his speed and his punt returning ability, kick returning ability. I know we got Pollard, but those two guys being our returners could be so deadly for us. Is just that I don't want to just give up that speed. That's part of that. That's part of the reason why it's really hard for me to picture our 5 is because it's like, man, do I picture Tavon being that 5th guy? He can be that extra gadget guy, but you did speak about redundancy with Randall Cobb. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because if those two guys were on the field at the same time with Coop, that's just so much speed in our wide receiver core. I don't think that defenses have enough DBs to counter that.
So I think when we're looking at building this roster, 3 units, and each one of those units got one guy that makes it really weird. I think wide receiver, D-line, O-line. And when we look at wide receiver, Tony Pollard makes things really weird for us. Because when you look at
he created that redundancy.
There you go. So when you look at Tavon, you go, man, dog, he can run the jet sweep. He can be the running back. He can kick return, punt return. But you go, man, there's a young dude that's on our team now that's not making $1 million that might be faster than Tavon today because Tavon's older now, but and he doesn't have an injury history. That can make it weird for Tavon. Meanwhile, you can get a guy like Allen Hurns is a totally different type of guy than Tavon. So I think that makes that makes Hurns safe in my opinion. So what it's going to come down to is like Tavon versus like a John V. Johnson. Now if you keep 6 receivers opposed to 5, then that may make it a little easier for you. However,
it's going to screw you somewhere else.
Yes, sir. Tony Pollard makes this real weird. My wife, Nene, just dropped 5 in the super chat. I don't know why she's doing that because it's going to go right back to her anyway. But
Shout out to Nene.
Shouts out to Nene, but go ahead.
But, my other question, I was speaking about the units. Kind of part of that question is really I want to go to defensive line because, you just really spoke on offensive line. I mean, it's my only real question with the offensive line is what are we gonna do with Mitch Hyatt? And because that's really my only concern after McGovern and Connor Williams. After the younger guys, it's like Mitch Hyatt he's not a guy. He's not a plug and play guy now, of course not. Yep. But he's not a guy that is gonna be able to make it to our practice squad. He's gonna get picked up.
Smart play.
So I'm kind of thinking about what are we gonna do with that being said? Like, do we want to keep Mitch Hyatt, and also, I really feel like Taco is gonna be the casualty come cuts.
Damn, slow down, Dominique. Wait a minute, we got this one at a time, Dominique. Man. I'm not gonna hang up on you. Wait. Okay, so look, offensive line. There are 2 offensive linemen that make this really weird, right? Mitch Hyatt and Connor McGovern make this really weird.
Very.
Connor McGovern is guard center guy. If we're cutting down on redundancies, Joe Looney can't be here because we have a younger, maybe a better, cheaper, whose contract's not up next year, guard center guy. So Connor McGovern makes it really weird for Joe Looney. Mitch Hyatt, you are absolutely right. We can't put him on practice squad. Somebody gonna take him. So we just gonna have to deal.
Draftable grades on them.
We might have to deal with just cutting Mitch Hyatt. And it sounds terrible. It sounds bad, but we're gonna have to make that decision. We either gonna have to carry extra offensive linemen, which could handicap you at wide receiver or DB or linebacker or something like that, or you just gonna be like,
know what?
Go ahead.
You know how we could solve all these problems? Cut Jameez Olawale.
Jameez can go.
What do we have a fullback for?
Jameez and Rico can go. Totally agree. But like I was saying on the phone earlier with Brandon, I think this coaching staff gonna have a Jameez Olawale conversation. Like front office signed him back, and I think Jameez may be making like $3 million or something like that. I think if it comes down to Jameez Olawale or like Joe Jackson, I think
I'd rather eat that dead money.
Eat the dead money and keep Joe Jackson. You goddamn right. Damn right. Let's talk D-line before I hang up on you. You're absolutely right.
Sure.
D-line is weird. We're probably only going to carry 8 to 9 D linemen. If you name just the guys that played last year and the free agent guys, that's automatically 6.
Yeah.
So
Kerry Hyder and Covington, they're gonna have some trouble.
Kerry might not even make. I don't even want to put Kerry on there no more. What I wrote down. So let's just say we carrying 8 or 9, right? D-Law, Collins, Quinn, Woods, Tyrone Crawford, Tristan Hill. You was talking about Taco, but I'm keeping Taco. I'll tell you why in a second. Taco and I would keep Covington. So Dorrance Armstrong, Joe Jackson, Daniel Ross, Kerry Hyder they're not even accounting for it right now, and we only got one more spot. Meanwhile, you may say, okay,
and they got Randy. You still got
Randy Gregory makes this shit weird. Randy Gregory makes this weird. This is my whole thing about Taco. You were saying earlier Taco may be the casualty. This is my problem with that. Taco, people may be upset that Taco is not a first round pick caliber right now, but Taco is at least better than some rotational defensive ends you can find around the league. I'll at least give him that. So my problem is Taco is in this pool of guys that he got to beat. Taco ain't guaranteed a spot no more. Taco got to fight with Taco. Dorrance, Joe Jackson, and Kerry Hyder. Those guys got to fight. Out of those 4 guys, 2 guys gonna make it until Randy Gregory comes back. Now, as of now, Randy Gregory ain't even counting. He ain't even counting. He's on the reserve list right now. But when he come back, somebody got to go. Randy makes this shit weird. But it's a fantastic problem to have, because if you cutting Joe Jackson from your team, man, your 9 must be ferocious. Your 9 must be ferocious. Go ahead.
And really that was gonna be my last question. Is like, why aren't these networks putting respect on the Cowboys' defensive line?
Let them fly.
Like, I saw PFF rank the Eagles had the best defensive line. The Cowboys weren't even top 6.
Let them sleep. Don't worry about it. Let them sleep.
Man,
Let them sleep. Don't trip.
Yeah, but I appreciate you letting me on, bro. Everybody, subscribe, donate, hit the Patreon. I appreciate you, Voch, man. You do great work, bro. Keep up the great work, and keep uploading that great content, bro.
Appreciate it, Dominique.
All right, bro. Be easy.
Yeah. For those of you that tuned in late, I'm dropping a John V. Johnson film session as soon as we're done here. Hey, man, but I feel like talking to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So we just gonna run this thing till it's over with. Space Cowboy, what's good?
What's going on, fam? What's going on, Voch?
I know you got something you want to say. Talking about this roster. Talking about this roster and cutting good people. I know you got a take for me.
Oh, no. Well, I'm actually...
Well, what the hell you want then, Space Cowboy? You ain't calling to talk about that.
Don't give... Nah, just like... No, what I love about what our roster is looking at right now, I am very comfortable going into this. Listen, and you already touched on it on with the previous caller, man. Like, you talked on everything that I was gonna ask.
Sure. My bad, man.
But hey, I'm not. No, you're good, man.
Yeah.
I will say this though, just an interesting point, is that I think based on how this roster is constructed and how we've been drafting at certain positions, I feel that the Cowboys are starting to maneuver themselves to get ready for these upcoming contracts. I'm not sure if you talked about that.
Say it again.
In regards, how the roster is built.
Gotcha.
Like how we've been. Yeah. So like for example, like when we draft like the Tristan Hills, we have the Connor McGoverns, like and the Tony, like those kinds of players. When
Sure.
you add those players in and the versatility they have, it's like you're preparing to know, like, at the end of the season. I'm not saying, and I know that's way down the line, but that's something that you kind of have to start talking about because obviously, hey, you got big contracts coming up, right? So when you look at it, of course, you got big payday for Dak, you got Zeke coming up, you got Amar, all those guys. And obviously, if for those that don't know, Dallas has one of the highest cap spaces coming up in 2020.
Yep.
And that's before the bump that typically the NFL gives the teams, and that's before the CBA and stuff. So, and you did a fantastic job of talking about this roster and, like, the tough cuts that we're going to have to make. But at the end of the day, I know that once we get this finalized roster, we're going to have some people that are unhappy. Man, we should have kept that guy. Yep. But this is kind of how I look at it. We've been drafting very well. We've been adding so much good talent to this roster that I'm not worried if we miss out on a guy or two. Yeah, it sucks. But at the end of the day, if you know that you can replace that guy in another year and you have him under a longer deal and cheaper, hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man. I think that we've done a fantastic job in, like, and I don't think we're going to cut Taco. You know what I mean? Like, I think that Taco's going to – but I will say, like, Taco's running out of time, you know what I mean?
Totally agree.
He's got to show something.
The one thing that's keeping Taco safe is that he's cheap and he does have upside. I'll give him that. He's cheap and he got upside.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only that, he has that fifth year. I'm not saying they'll give him the fifth-year option, but he does have that flexibility. So it's like, we need another D lineman before, or we need to hold on to him for a little bit longer so we have some time to get ready to replace him. If that's what I'm not saying they're thinking that, but I think what Taco also provides is flexibility in sense of, like, how long you can retain him. So it's like, okay, if we don't have someone that can replace him now, we'll wait and then we'll, draft someone or add someone else later. And I think that's key because, when we add, like, a guy like a Robert Quinn, you add a Kerry Hyder, those kinds of players for, like, a year, and then they leave hypothetically, which I think might happen, you got a guy like Taco that could be there just in case, if you see what I'm going at.
Sure, absolutely.
If you see what I'm going?
Yeah. He's there for the just in case. Like, Taco's a fantastic safety blanket just in case something happens. You know what I mean? Because you can just plug him right there.
The break in case of emergency thing. And hey, listen, that's not me disrespecting Taco. I think Taco has upside. My thing is like, listen. People were saying, well, DeMarcus took some time to develop. I understand that. But my thing is, man, is like, and I don't know if he'll get his chance. I hope he does, man. I think that, if he gets his time, I think he'll do well. But my thing is like, and this is why I love and go back to reiterating that point, the way the Cowboys are building this roster is that, hey, we drafted this guy and this guy will be here for some time. And then it's like, well, I don't know if we can get that certain position filled in the first round or whatever, but we'll have time to fix that later. And that's what I love about what I'm not sure, if you've ever talked about that on this stream so far, but I just wanted to, like, allude to those kinds of points if you get where I'm going at.
The biggest problem with Taco is that Randy Gregory is the best natural pass rush on this team. That's the biggest problem. Like Randy, like I say that all the time, and people kind of look at me funny, like, Randy better than D-Law? Like, listen, D-Law had to train to get to where he was, right? D-Law had to learn how to use his hands and how to work the wrist and, like, manipulate moves and change. Randy Gregory rolls out the bed better than people. You know what I'm saying? And last year was supposed to be the year that, hey, let's throw Taco in the fire and see what happens. And Randy Gregory just started running past people. And he picked up steam. And in the back half of the season, he got 9 sacks in 7 games. That's the problem. That's Taco's biggest problem.
Oh, I agree. Because my thing is like, Randy Gregory, he wasn't cut. Like, he's still on this roster. So if in some hypothetical situation he comes back, if I'm Taco, I'm like, oh, crap. Because it's like this dude. Because to me, if Randy doesn't come back, I think Taco has more of more time, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
Because I feel like if Randy Gregory's available and we know that he's on, that's not a guarantee either. Mm-hmm. But if we know he's going to be available and he's going to be there, darn well the Cowboys are going to look at going over to him other than Taco because, like you said, and I agree, he's a more natural pass rusher than Taco. That doesn't mean Taco can't be good. It just means that, like, as of right now, like, he has that upside, and the Cowboys are going to run with that. Like, they're not going to be like, oh, Taco, you got to go out there. Like, no, they're not going to do that.
10,000%.
They want to go with the hot hand.
10,000%. And something else I think is saving them too is that there's no guarantee that Quinn, Crawford, or Randy's going to be there next year. So I think that's something that could possibly save Taco this year. So, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, and I'll just finish off on this point. I'll let you go. I think that, look, if Quinn leaves, if they say, hey, listen, Crawford, we're paying you way too much money, we're going to have to let you go. Listen, the Cowboys, and like I will always say, and if everyone's like freaking out, I'm not saying anyone is, if we're like, oh man, I can't believe we cut that guy. Listen, the Cowboys do these things because they want to make sure that they're doing the right thing. They want to be prepared to always have that cap space to make those moves. And listen, things don't work out this year. Hey man, we got enough money. We have the draft capital to fix up certain positions. They're not afraid to do it, man. I know the Cowboys weren't afraid to give up a first-round pick to fill a hole at wide receiver. They will make moves if they need to, and I guarantee you that we'll be fine. So, just wanted to add that, man. Thank you so much for letting me on.
Big facts, man. Plug your YouTube so everybody know where to come listen to you at.
If you want to follow me, guys, follow me on YouTube at Space Cowboy, and if you want to follow me on Twitter at Space_Cowboy_17 on Twitter. Thank you, Voch.
Appreciate
Have a good
it.
day, man.
Yes, sir. I tell y'all what, man. Space Cowboy, me and him think so much alike that it's kind of weird to me. He always approaches these things from a logical standpoint, and that's how I like to look at it. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to see people get emotional over different Cowboy topics. I see it all the time. It makes me sick. Stop being emotional. Cut it out. But Space Cowboy keep it so gangster, man. You know what I'm saying? He just keeps he keeps his mind so clear. Plus, he has this venom, just this natural venom for like dumb shit. Like I have that same hatred or whatever, and he hates dumb stuff. He hates emotional thinking, and me and him kind of got that in common or whatever. So go ahead and check your boy out, man. I promise you, it's worth it. 954. What's happening? Who this?
Hey, this is Mark.
What up, Mark? What you got for the show?
Hey, first time I've ever listened to you, man. I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, appreciate you. Appreciate you. How'd you get here?
Yeah.
How'd you get here?
Well, you know what? I subscribed to your channel a while back when you were breaking down some film for a draft, I think, or I'm a huge Cowboys fan, obviously, and you just make so much sense, and you're easy to understand. I thought, man, this guy knows the game. So I've just been following you ever since. Didn't even know you did a live show till tonight. So.
I really appreciate it, Mark. What you got for the show?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the Chris Richard factor, and I don't think we've seen the full impact of it yet.
Okay.
In fact, I was going to ask you, there are some guys back there that I don't even know I know of that he's really, really high on. And my question to you, could there be some surprises back there? I didn't hear the name of the guy. Do we have a guy as a free agent or a draft choice who's like 6'4"? Really fast?
Absolutely. So there are a few people that Chris Richard likes that's on our roster right now. One guy from last year, Donovan Alumba, he played preseason last year. I'm actually gonna do a film session on him. He's all of these corners, they're built the same way. Like they're tall guys that can run and they're lengthy. So what's gonna happen is Chris is gonna put them in different scenarios to where they don't have to always run with guys. They're just going to play cover 3 looks to where all they really got to do is turn.
How many of those?
Like 4.
And listening to you talk about our roster all night, though, how can we afford to keep these guys?
Well, some of them we're not going to be able to, and I think we have these guys because we're like Byron Jones might not get paid, so that's why we have Michael Jackson, who's another tall, long guy. Chris Westry, the 6'4" guy you were saying, we drafted him from Kentucky. He's another guy that's built just like that, just a long, lengthy guy that can run. So. Chris kind of built his Seattle offense based on those guys. Richard Sherman is not really a man cover guy. He's a cover 3 corner. You know what I mean? He just watches the quarterback and surroundings or whatnot. And if somebody comes in his zone, he's really good at reading and reacting. So Chris takes those guys that can run, read, and react that have long arms. And we have like 3 or 4 guys that are built just like that.
Well, he calls them a ball of clay. And this guy is a master at developing young defensive backs. I just hope that we can. I wish we had room to carry all of them. I'd like to see what he can do over the next 2 years. And I'm not going to keep you long, but another thing you've been saying tonight that's hilarious because I watched that first take, and you are right about those guys.
Sure.
They dog on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like bad. I get sick of it. I got to turn the thing off sometimes.
It's pretty brilliant because they know that the Cowboys have the biggest market, and they're in it for views. They're in it for the biggest market. Like, you ever know? I was watching one day, and they had an interview with like Rico Gathers. I'm like, who? Our 4th tight end got an interview on ESPN, and we can't even talk about the first tight end on some other team. But Rico Gathers gets the, you know what I mean? Like, they just know we're gonna tune in and watch. So what makes Stephen A. Smith so brilliant, is he's basically the Cowboy antagonist. Shannon Sharp's the same guy. We'll never know how they really feel about the Cowboys, but their job is to be anti-Cowboy. So if we listen to Stephen A. Smith and we hate what he says, then he wins, because if the Cowboys win, we tune in to watch him eat crow. If the Cowboys lose, we kind of still tune in just to, watch him dog us a little bit. Or 31 other teams tune in to watch him dog the Cowboys after a loss. So it's really brilliant.
Hey, one last little thing. Jason Witten. And I love Jason Witten, don't get me wrong, but I was a little bit surprised that all of the stock that people are putting in Jason Witten, I just don't know that helps our tight end situation at all. In fact, I think it kind of hurts us. I'd really like to get your take on what you think the Jason Witten impact could be for a positive or even for a negative.
I think the only reason Jason Witten did TV last year is because he thought the football team wasn't going to be very good. And he had a decision to make this offseason on whether he was going to try to come back in TV in a smaller form or come back to football. To where, Jace, we can't put you primetime Monday night. We can't put you primetime Monday night anymore because people are going to, complain. So we can put you on SEC Network so you can do like Tennessee games. But he saw that the Cowboys had a rising, young, talented team. And he wanted to be a part of that, and he wanted to make one more run at the Super Bowl. So that's just what makes sense to me in that way. As far as what's he going to do for the team, X and O's wise, well, Jason was slow last year. So I don't think it's really going to matter that he was slow this year. You know what I mean? It's mostly, timing. He's going to have this pretty solid rapport with Dak. That hasn't gone anywhere. And you don't really lose your hand. So as long as Jason Witten can run his little option routes and catch the ball, it's cool. If we're going to have a tight end going down the field, working the verticals or doing anything past 10 yards, that'll probably be, Blake Jarwin's job.
All right. Hey, I love your show, man. I'll keep tuning in.
I appreciate it, Mark. I'm going to put you down as a platinum caller. So next time you call in, you don't have to wait so long. Appreciate it, sir.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
My wife Nene say Cowboy YouTubers have better content anyway. That's facts. Facts a million Pegasus. We got one more call and we're going to wrap this thing up. Let's go 409. What's happening? Who this?
Hey, what's up, Voch? It's Angel Rodriguez, man.
Angel Rodriguez! ¿Qué pasa contigo, mi hermano? What's happening, man?
Yeah, I don't know what that means, man, but
shit, what's up, bro?
Nah, bro. I have just kind of 3 points, kind of piggybacking on certain things. Last time I called you, man, we kind of had a drag out, not really a drag out, but we had a conversation about Dak, and
Sure.
I wasn't really feeling pain on him at that time.
Sure.
But man, the more and more I've kind of digested, I think these coaches are going to do right by him. And that was my biggest thing. I just didn't trust the coaching staff, but from what I've been hearing about Kellen Moore and some of Dak's improvements, and one of the callers just made a real good point in that. I mean, you're not, aside from Amari, Zeke, I mean, you're paying a couple of guys, but, you're not in the days of where you're trying to pay 2 wide receivers big-time money.
Right.
We're getting to a point to where some of our offensive linemen who are making big money, you could probably afford to just bring in a younger guy and let that guy go.
Sure.
Defensively, it's not a lot of money, so you can afford that moving because you have such a young team. You pay some key guys, and then you just replace the rest of the guys for, drafts. And I think you can afford Dak's contract without really having to really mess up the dynamics of the team.
This team has a fantastic financial, like how they manage money or whatnot, right? Because they they pay their key players, like you said. They're gonna always pay their key guys. There are certain units that they hold higher than others. So like pass rushers, linebackers, those guys are gonna get top dollar. Sure, absolutely. But one tech, nickel corners, safeties,
straight up.
Second receiver, slot receiver, those guys are going to get replaced.
Right tackles, move them in and out.
There you go. And what makes us different is that we actually draft well. We were just I've been having this conversation all day. The only reason why Joe Jackson might not make the team is because we had a good pick in Dorrance Armstrong. You know what I'm saying? So so it's a good problem to have when you see us release good players and you go, damn, why we get rid of that dude? Because we've done a fantastic job at drafting. So when you see like Joe Looney, we're not gonna pay Joe Looney. We just gonna draft Connor McGovern. So we got that backup this year, and Connor will be starting next year. So it's easy peasy.
Yeah. Another point I wanted to make, man, was it's weird. We always want to ignore the national media, man, but it's just this off season, man, is weird because it's such a big I feel like a disparity between where people are putting us.
Yeah.
Like the other day I was watching Maurice Jones-Drew, and he had us going like 12-4, and he's never really been a Cowboy lover. I think he leans more on the hater side.
Mm-hmm.
But then like God said about PFS, ranking us, and so it's just a weird dynamic between we're a Super Bowl contender or we're gonna be like last in the division or whatever. That's weird to me, but I take it for what it's worth. It's the Cowboys, man.
Never get your Cowboys opinion from national media because they not watching film on us, and they got to watch way too many people to have a good idea of what's going on here.
Oh no, yeah. I'm either turning to Cowboys. I'm looking at Brian Broaddus, or I'm coming at you, Law.
Sure.
Yeah, that's about it.
But boy, Maurice Jones-Drew is terrible. Don't even take dating advice from him. Don't take no kind of advice from him. Nothing.
Yeah, man. And the last point I wanted to make was I kind of was keeping the offensive line and seeing what they're doing with Connor Williams, trying him at tackle. And I'm not saying that they're going to try to play him at tackle this year, but do you think he could be some type of another emergent, like, if you look at him in training camp and you say, all right, man, he can secure offensive line if Tyron goes down. If he can secure that left side better, and you just plug in a Connor McGovern without having actually played Cam and Fleming, and still have your best 5 linemen on the field, do you think there's a little bit of thinking going into that, thinking that Connor might actually be your backup swing tackle, or the first priority, I should say, if something were to happen to, one of our tackles and the line was to really be out of there, and you could just kind of slide in McGovern, since you have all that inside depth, you can afford to move, Connor Williams from inside and put him at tackle if need be. If he shows that he can, he can work at that spot.
I think if anything happens to Lael Collins, I think Connor McGovern is going to be. Connor Williams is going to be the guy to go to right tackle. What I'm looking at is Cam Fleming is technically the swing tackle guy, but I think he's more so Tyron's backup.
Well, do you think that Connor Williams can kind of compete in a sense with Cam because he does have left tackling experience, and since he's been, last year his experience is on that left side, so his inclination to be, have his body positioned toward that left is a little more natural. I'm not saying he can't pick up the right, but I'm just saying, do you think? I mean, because that's, because everyone's like, well, everyone's talking about putting him at right tackle, but we saw him getting some work at left tackle, mostly probably because you don't really have your starters and everybody's, kind of resting right now. Yeah. But I just kind of was, I was thinking about that the other day because that's not. Maybe you don't have to get rid of somebody because maybe you don't have to get rid of a Joe Looney,
Well,
because you have that depth in the middle.
Well, we'll see, but
in that position flex.
First of all,
guards being able to swing out a tackle.
First of all, it's June. Like it's way too early to even know. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll know closer to August. Like what's really gonna happen. But I honestly think next year Connor Williams is gonna be your first team right tackle. So if anything happens to Layell, I think they're gonna put him at right tackle, and then it's gonna be Operation next year's line. You put Connor Mack at left guard and Connor Will at right tackle, and you get a good idea of what your line is going to be next year. And I just think you just run it like that. If anything happens to Leo Collins, I think Operation 2020 line goes into effect immediately.
Most def, man. Hey, I appreciate the time, Voch. Great stuff as always, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
No doubt. Salute, bro. Thanks for calling. I just put you down platinum. Angel Rodriguez. Salute.
Appreciate you, Voch.
Yep. Listen, y'all, fantastic show. Let me cut you off. Salute to everybody that called in. Because it seems like y'all get real selective about when y'all want to call in. When I don't have the phone set up, y'all do want to call in. When the phone's set up, y'all don't. But we was on the same page today, so everything was good to go. Like this video, do all that good stuff. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going live and doing live streams like that, right? So if you hit the notification bell, you would get this notification there. You would get that notification, which says that the John V. Johnson film session is active right now. So if you would like to go watch that, and which you should, because it seems like you're here for a reason. You're here because you value film evaluation. You value objective, like football stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So I did a video on him, a film session on the undrafted free agent rookie wide receiver John V. Johnson. Y'all go check my man's out, man. I think he's gonna be our fifth receiver. Alan Hearn's gonna be the fourth guy, and John V. Johnson is gonna be the guy at 5. So if y'all would just go over to that video and watch that, and go in the comment section and be like #stream game or #straight from the stream. Hey, Voch, I came here straight from the stream. Good stream, Voch. Let me know that you came from the stream, and I don't know, I might put you in a fantasy football league or something. Hey, with that being said, thanks everybody for tuning in. I need to thank my wife, Nene. I need to thank Gerald. I need to thank Brian for all of the PayPals today. Let me scroll for my super chats. Hang tight. Also, Eric dropped a dime in the super chat. He was talking about some of the D linemen that are going to have to play for their spot this year. Salute to everybody for being here. Y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski. The Peace Whiskey is free. Till next time. Peace, y'all.